and I looked up and I see flames.
More than a day into fighting the fire on Mount Si.
And you just kind of want to stay. You want to make sure you're here.
And fears
It was scary.
are starting to grow faster than the flame.
It's nerve-wracking.
Denny Shadley couldn't sleep last night as the red glow crept closer and closer.
Because I have had nightmares about fires, and so this is pretty scary. Pretty scary. A little too close for comfort, for sure.
No evacuations have been ordered, but she has a bag packed and ready to go. Yesterday, the fight looked promising, but overnight, Mother Nature refused to cooperate.
So the humidity didn't rise the way we thought it would, which was in part what allowed the fire to grow.
Winds continue to push flames around as 3 crews of 10 navigate steep and rocky mountainside.
The problem is the terrain up here. It's in cliffy area.
Mike Banner and Karin Chulik know this mountain as well as anybody, having hiked every nook and cranny. Many of them now charred.
Now we're just looking straight at it, so it's advanced all the way up the hill.
The Mount Si Trail system is one of the most popular in the state, with tens of thousands hiking through each year. But this beautiful Saturday, it was completely shut down, with trails now doubling as potential fire breaks. By mid-afternoon, a second helicopter joined the fight.
That'll make me feel so much better.
Cheered on by homeowners.
Come on, hit that spot!
With everything on the line.
All right, here we go. Okay, here. Come on!
The fire has no good place to go. Up, and it scorches a hiking superhighway.
He comes down, fills up the bucket. 250 gallons.
And any farther down,
Here we go.
well,
Yes.
Susan Hennick doesn't want to think about it.
Yes. It's pretty scary because it was a blaze. Okay, let's see if he hits my spot again. Come on, buddy.
We want to be around people downtown.
A repeat of last year's May Day was feared by many.
Back up, folks.
But as the evening's unofficial march moved further into downtown, it almost felt inevitable. The arrest started around 7 o'clock at Pike and 5th.
Go downtown!
And as the crowd was herded through downtown, the situation continued to escalate. Injuring demonstrators and officers alike.
Stay together! Stay downtown!
The climax seemed to be reached just after 8 when police gained control and broke up another May Day, just like was feared.
Move back! Watch the alley up! Move back!
It's sad that somebody would take something that was really important to us.
It's business as usual at Mama's Mexican Kitchen, but someone's gone missing.
Have you guys walked up and down some of the alleyways?
I have, yeah.
If you walk or work around 2nd and Bell Streets,
Used to stand right over here.
It's definitely somebody that people wanted to, like to see.
you know him.
I mean, you would definitely notice.
Right.
He's my buddy.
He's a staple to the neighborhood.
Yeah.
People would just come by, take a picture with him.
Yeah.
Always welcoming to people that come to visit Mama's.
And then one late evening last week,
Running down this alley over here,
he disappeared.
I'm shocked. I came out and tried to find him and he was gone.
They do have a description of the missing
I
man.
mean, this one looks a lot like him. He's about probably
He's shorter than me.
about 6 feet. I would say he's about...
Well, I'll try to email you guys a photo.
A brooding loner with bedroom eyes and jet black pompadour who plays by his own rules.
Cape?
No cape. He's just wearing like an outfit. Brown leather jacket, blue pants, and boots.
Okay.
Way better than me.
Hair, flawless.
There are a lot of artist renderings here of him, but all different.
Yeah, totally different.
Little to go on, just artist renderings on napkins. A room full.
He's Elvis, for sure. He's definitely Elvis.
Well, he wasn't really real. So
He is a very studly mannequin.
Okay, so Elvis is just a statue. But he's come so far from his days as a Macy's mannequin.
It's been here for so long.
23 years since, putting smiles on faces.
He was always there.
Able to be the conversation starter between strangers, just by standing there.
I'm actually sad, yeah, and I'm willing to help offer some money to return them.
No wonder he means so much.
We would not press charges if somebody brought him in. Like, it wouldn't matter. We just want him back.
In Belltown, Mike Castellucci, King 5 News.
Everybody's kind of bummed out about it.
I always tell her who I am, so she doesn't have to guess.
What are we going to do?
She doesn't remember that she has grandchildren.
And I'd get lost and not know how to get home.
She doesn't remember most things.
I'm glad I'm not here alone.
Well, that's what I'm here for.
Marilyn Rakel wants to change the conversation about her mother.
Let's look out here.
About Alzheimer's.
I think I know where I am, but
You know what I mean.
I do, but I don't.
The conversations.
Totally confused. You just forget everything's just here. This way.
This way.
That begin with.
I wonder, where am I?
She's gone. She's an empty shell now.
Pop goes the weasel.
How sad. And it is sad, of course.
Hi, Mom. It's your daughter, Marilyn. How are
What's
you?
even sadder?
So many people talk about their family members with Alzheimer's and dementia in the past tense. They're no longer here.
But that's no good.
Pretty impressive.
Marilyn wants to remind us all they're still here.
Zip.
She's still teaching me, still leading me places. That's a triple letter.
Well, I'm very fortunate.
Present tense. Our moms and dads are grandparents with Alzheimer's.
She has a lot to give.
Oh, bless my soul. I will give you back my soul.
I want you to keep your soul. I've got a yen for you.
Marilyn is learning patience from her mom and much more.
And go.
Enjoy the moment. Pretty impressive.
To be silly.
Everything happens in that 3-second window, and then it's gone.
Someday you're going to get to be pretty old, and you think to yourself, oh, yes, I'm fine now.
This is what she thinks an old person would be like.
Just an old lady going.
Living life totally in the moment.
Life is beautiful.
Which is a very peaceful and lovely place to be.
Oh, I'm very happy.
That's pretty good.
Not bad.
So what if Jean Rakel doesn't remember her age?
Big deal. How old am I now?
You're 94.
Am I 94 already?
94.
I'm very old. 94?
So what?
This is life.
I didn't think I was that old.
We're going to go down this way.
What matters to this devoted daughter is she still gets to be
very nice
with Mom.
Because she's still here, and I want my mother. Sometimes you just want your mother, and I get to be around her. I get to keep my mother.
Catch a falling star and put it in your pocket, never let it fade away.
Jean Rakel was diagnosed with Alzheimer's 8 years ago. She lives in an assisted living home in Seattle, Horizon House.
Music programs, they've got all these things.
Jean, I have an apron for you.
And every Tuesday for 1 hour,
art class, it was like, why not?
Be inspired by the flowers.
Jean goes to her art class.
She loves colors.
And even though she gets confused sometimes,
Not do that.
Let's make another blossom.
what she's creating with her hands
All of a sudden, we saw these paintings.
is turning heads.
Oh my God, these are really interesting.
No.
6 years of Tuesdays have produced 500 paintings.
Just beautiful paintings from the day one.
That's all.
Whoa, whoa. We didn't know she had this.
And?
Your mother never painted.
A day in her life.
How do you explain it? This new talent. Cousin Frankie.
I was flabbergasted.
Jean's younger sister Louise.
I just wonder what she's thinking when she's doing it.
I don't know, did I do that?
Yeah, you've done hundreds of paintings.
Well, I guess I'll have to think about it and see. I don't know. I can't remember things.
Jean has no memory of creating the paintings.
Here we go.
Even moments after she's done. It's like
never happened.
No.
How does this happen? Someone who's never painted a day in her life, acting like she's painted all her life.
In some people with dementia,
there are theories.
Maybe it's new synapses are being formed, but something's happening in their brain that is causing them to have artistic creativity where none existed before.
Lucky for us that Jean Rakel, at 94, is suddenly and mysteriously bringing beauty into our world.
It's a window into her mind, and it's also, for me, less trying to figure out what she's thinking than just taking pleasure in the fact that she is thinking.
It's just tremendous.
It's beautiful.
And teaching her daughter still.
To be there and to enjoy it.
That's pretty good.
Mother, you're very good.
About life and what's important.
Someday you're going to be an old lady.
Because after all, they're still here.
Yeah, they're still teaching us. They're still your parents, and always will be.
And I'll say, well, I think it might.
John Sharifi, King 5 News.
So enjoy it when you're young.
Some nights are more beautiful than others.
It's such a special thing. We just come out as quickly as we can.
Out to the balcony. We drop everything and we just run out.
Because it's a real thrill.
It's part of the evening ritual.
Yeah.
The nightly ritual ends with a wave.
There's no describing it.
From Don's deck overlooking Puget Sound.
Absolutely beautiful.
The sun has set.
It's awe-inspiring to me.
The song has ended. The applause continues.
It's this whole kind of, you know, corral of applause.
From this Dash Point neighborhood.
We clap and cheer.
It's a real treat for us.
And the nearby dock.
Did you hear that?
The cheers.
It's something that everyone connects to.
In appreciation.
For those 24 notes that he plays so well.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
24 notes.
24 notes. Isn't that something?
That begin every night.
Okay, here he comes out.
Sun's going down, you hear that note, first note.
There he goes. Up.
Don's playing.
With this one.
It is beautiful.
If the sun's going down, I look over there, and when the sun starts to go, and it goes very fast, as soon as it starts to go, I play.
It's Don's cue to play the melody we all know.
It is one of the most beautiful songs that we have.
It's a melody played at military funerals. Don Britton plays it from his back porch.
Taps is something that's been played forever. Taps, I think, is awe-inspiring.
For this retired Boeing worker,
I love to do it.
It's what he loves to do, has to do.
Yeah, that gets me choked up.
It's Don's way of saying thanks.
My husband and I are deployed in Afghanistan.
To the men and women who serve our country.
And wanted to send our personal thanks to you for the remembrance you give to all of the soldiers who have paid the ultimate price.
Absolutely.
That's not much of a sacrifice on my part.
Don never got to serve in the military because he had polio as a kid. So you might say, this evening ritual?
It's his way of serving his veterans right here.
You betcha. It's sure not for me.
24 notes.
We timed it, and I think it takes a minute.
Nightly.
Emotional.
Right, yeah.
Now come on, can you take a minute out of your day to make things better?
It's the most important minute of our day.
For 1 minute, that's got 150% of my concentration. Everything I can give it. It's that important to me.
Something extraordinary happens in this neighborhood for that 1 minute. People stop.
And I mean stop.
And reflect.
It makes you just feel so proud.
And take a deep breath.
And to just say, oh, here I am.
Some stand at attention.
An amazing and wonderful thing.
Wouldn't you?
Reverent.
We're really blessed to have him right here with the sun.
And when the sun has set and the song has ended,
And this is kind of corny, but it's almost goosebumps.
long after the applause, on those nights when Don knows he's nailed it,
I feel really good. I did it, you know.
It's very important to us.
Shivers, goose pimples.
Yeah, I got it.
all of those emotions
Thankfulness, really deep thankfulness.
from these 24 notes.
Sure beautiful, Amy.
John Sharifi, King 5 News.
I use acrylic. So I do wildlife, horses, dogs, cats, any animals.
It's a question every artist gets at one time or another.
Birds, as far as ducks and eagles and things.
For Dee Dee Murray, her answer to that question
I am a realist.
is simple.
Yeah.
Yeah, realism is the art form this Centralia artist is drawn to. Look at how real.
I like to paint every hair on the animal, so
It's like the animals are in the room.
I do a lot of pet portraits.
Dee Dee leaves the abstract work,
She's an abstract impressionist painter.
the impressionistic stuff, to others, to her prolific roommate, Hallie.
I thought I had a pretty good year, but she made more money than I did last year.
Two working artists living in one house with the same obsession to express themselves. Competition.
It's a little hard on the ego, but I'm so proud of her, it doesn't matter.
The realist works upstairs. The impressionist works downstairs. The realist does interviews.
Yeah.
The abstract impressionist roommate does not. I guess Hallie would rather let her work do the talking.
She's an amazing talent.
And others.
I'm her biggest fan.
They're touched that Hallie creates this work and sells this work.
Because of Hallie, we've saved lives. It doesn't get any better.
Okay, there's your paint right there.
And what makes it even better
Ready?
is when you learn who Hallie is.
I just say paint. You want to paint?
That question,
Hallie, paint.
with a little encouragement
Good girl. That's good girl.
and a lot of treats.
She paints faster the better the treat is. There you go. Paint a little more. Good girl. That's good. There you go. Good girl. Okay, paint. Good girl. Good. Very good. Okay, paint. Good. Good girl. That's it. Go ahead and paint, sweetie. There you go. Good girl.
Brings out the best in this 13-year-old long-haired dachshund.
She tends to paint in the same area, so she does have the rule of thirds, you know, the golden mean where things are supposed to go.
Every dollar of every sale from Hallie's paintings
There you go.
goes to a nonprofit in Chehalis that helps abandoned and abused dogs.
Every dime.
Purple Heart Rescue.
I can't even tell you how many lives she's touched.
People have noticed.
Good girl.
Hallie recently won a humanitarian award for donating $15,000, and she has the plaque to prove it.
Yes, yes, oh yes, don't get me going. But yes, very proud, yeah.
And even more impressive when you learn why Hallie just bumped into our camera.
She can't even see.
My blind dog makes more money than I do.
It's just amazing.
Here you go.
2 years ago, Hallie developed sudden acquired retinal degeneration syndrome, a disease in dogs that causes sudden blindness. And that's not all.
She can barely hear.
Mm-hmm. She's going bald and she's short, so.
Dee Dee is a realist in her approach to art and life. She knows the deal. And so she'll savor the remaining time she has with this precious dog she rescued 11 years ago.
She is my life. You know, I do everything for her and with her.
Who knew everything would also include this?
I call Dee Dee all the time. Is she painting?
Let's sit you on your little thing. There you go.
Well, no, she's taking a rest. Get her painting.
Paint?
She's slacking.
Paint a little more. There you go.
In Centralia.
Good. There you go.
John Sharifi.
Very good. That's good.
King 5 News.
Yeah.
The Yakima people say if you look closely at Mount Adams, you can make out the shape of a horse. Their legends say the Creator put horses here to help the Yakima people. And should they ever become lost, the horse will always lead the people home. Today, the Yakima and their wild horses walk different paths.
Every 5 years, they double in size. We have over 12,000 horses on our reservation.
Must be down in the bottom somewhere.
It's hard to explain how the herds of the Yakima can vanish into the vast desert and sage that is the Yakima Reservation. As quietly as they fade away, they emerge. The herds are on the run in a place where only they can survive.
The little Mustangs can go through that scab rock and won't lose a hair. You take a domestic through there, you're probably going to break all 4 legs in 10 yards.
They are descendants of original Spanish herds, escapees from farms and ranches, and unwanted horses dumped in the desert.
These little guys are born and raised up here. They're tougher than horseshoe nails.
Ed Gunyer Jr. knows these horses well. He's been capturing them for most of his life.
There's horse chasers and there's horse catchers. I'm a horse catcher. Yeah, I've caught my share and then some.
Some horses Gunyer sold to ranches, but most went to processing plants and onto dinner plates and dog dishes in Europe and Asia.
They'd be handled just like beef and sheep and pigs, you know, and the market's there.
Yeah, they've never been raised for food, so there's been no selective breeding of horses. So they have this innate flight, panic, drive that the cows, pigs that have been raised for thousands of years for slaughter don't have.
The Humane Society and other groups have led a successful drive to restrict meat processing of wild horses in the U.S. The protection extends across the West.
This is the trip wire, and then the weight up here.
With no buyers for wild horses,
rock drops and the gate closes.
Gunyer and other tribal members,
the only plant we've got's in Canada and Mexico,
have abandoned their traps. Wild horses are flourishing.
If we don't do anything, those numbers are going to grow and grow and grow.
I love horses, but they got to be managed.
A lot of these animals are going to starve to death.
Because there's nothing left to eat up here. Look at this.
There's no feed out there to feed all of these animals.
Tribal leaders say the horses are becoming victims of their own success.
There's nothing left to eat.
The horse herds have cut thousands of these trails through the desert. You can still see their footprints in the dust. But what you don't see is very much food for them or anything else to eat.
Down here, you used to see a lot of deer.
Tribal wildlife officials are considering drastic action.
It's just in euthanizing the horses. You know, that was our last resort, and I think we're pretty close to that last option.
Horse protection groups say there are better ways.
Contraceptives, drugs, or gelding, but to not round them up, not to send them to slaughter.
I don't think they have any clue or idea how much damage that 12,000 horses can do to a small parcel of land.
The Yakima say they've tried everything they can think of.
We've even sold horses for $1, and nobody wants them.
The Yakima and their horse herds are left to work this out among themselves, to find a way to live with each other, to find their way home. On the Yakima Reservation with photojournalist Gary Chittum, King 5 News.
Nature is very unexpected. Nature is music. Nature is rhythm.
The lucky ones in the world get to do what they love.
I track down sounds around the world. I heard a bird passing over the ridgetop.
By that definition,
and some dripping snow.
Gordon Hempton is a lucky man.
And when's the last time you listened to snow melting?
And he knows it.
And discovered it truly is music you can dance to.
Lucky to get to listen to nature up close.
I take my pictures with sound.
Lucky to have traveled so far.
A lot of energy in those waves.
All around the world.
It's real invigorating.
This 60-year-old sound tracker, that's what he calls himself, has been on a lifelong search for the quietest of places.
Places people have never been.
Listening means taking it all in and taking all sounds with equal importance.
And he records them all.
So what we have here, we have 2 ears.
With his reliable recording device he affectionately calls Fritz.
As the sound wave approaches the head, it wraps around and arrives at the ears at slightly different times.
And he has some wonderful sounds.
I can tell so much about a recording in 2 seconds.
His recordings, which he turns into audio files,
Real wind passing through high-power tension lines.
Are used in everything from movie soundtracks and video games. So it's Gordon Hempton's job to listen to the world. His mission to preserve 1 square inch of silence, as he puts it, in the Hoh Valley.
This is the place, 1 square inch of silence, that I promise to defend from all human-caused noise intrusion.
It's all really beautiful.
Gordon's partner Kate listens in awe. Nature speaking to us, loud and clear.
And we've forgotten how to listen.
Now listen to this, how they found out.
I actually didn't realize that it was that serious.
Until that moment?
Mm-hmm.
When I woke up one morning and the sun was shining, but I couldn't hear the birds.
So he asked you the question.
Are the birds singing, or do you hear birds?
She goes, yeah. So,
Yeah, I can't hear them. I'm not hearing them.
That's what he said.
It's pretty much like a jeweler going blind.
Left ear.
Left ear.
It's spreading.
So both ears now.
It's a race.
It's not clear yet the cause of his hearing loss.
This ear canal, which has the highest hearing loss, I can rub my ear and barely hear it, for example.
It is clear that as he's going deaf,
simply because I get tired of saying, what? What?
He will need help.
I hear the bird.
You hear the bird?
Mm-hmm.
If he wants to finish his best work yet.
Let's go on to the next one.
100 hours of nature recordings, which he will call Quiet Planet.
My most precious recordings.
There's so much work to do still.
Go back just a little bit there.
Kate is now his extra pair of ears.
He has a hard time hearing the bird sounds and the insect sounds.
You hear the cricket?
I heard something now.
Able to hear things Gordon can't anymore.
Really?
I hear the higher pitches. Bird.
They're birds. And she goes, is that bird supposed to be in there? And I go, no. And she goes,
there it is.
There it is? You can't hear that? And I go, no. And she goes, I'm worried. Notice the rhythm to the rain. Mm-hmm.
Matt Mickelson is an aspiring sound recordist.
Listen to this place.
Another pair of ears. A college student, Gordon, is mentoring.
That's what the whole art is about.
I hope to be in audio production, specifically, hopefully, nature sound recording.
Are you hearing this?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
It's too far in the background for me.
Some of the greatest pieces of music and art that we have on this planet were created by people who can't even sense what they were making.
I got to face the facts. I have to have somebody sit beside me and listen for me.
I hear some water in the back of that one.
Oh, you do?
And now in his race against silence.
It's a foot race right now.
Gordon Hempton refuses to believe
we want a quiet place.
That he will end up.
Well, when you can't hear, you're cut off, you're disconnected.
In the quietest of all places.
Hope
is what keeps him going.
I believe I'm going to beat this.
I just want Gordon to be able to hear the birds.
And believing still, despite everything, his luck hasn't run out.
There are so many beautiful sounds.
John Sharifi.
Quiet cannot be imagined, but it can be heard.
King 5 News.
So come to the quiet place. Believe in miracles again.